Hi everyone, you reach Chronicles of the Gray Hair Diva. If this is your first time, welcome. If not, welcome back. For all of you out there, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that every time I upload a video, you will be notified. Hit the like button, chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. And share my video with your friends and family so that they can come to my channel and get to know me also. I'm here today with my recap on Love and Marriage DC. Who is it starring? Chris Samuels, Monique Samuels, and Monique is a former housewife of the Real Housewives of Potomac, or what she loves to label as that other show. What happened over there at that other show? If she doesn't learn to let that go, I'm just about sick of her hearing her say every single scene something about that other show. So we have several couples on this Love and Marriage DC. It's Monique and Chris, is Ashley and Quicksilver, is Jamie and Arena. We have we just got introduced to Tasha and Neil, and Tasha is Monique's former hairstylist from that other show. Okay, so we have Tasha and Neil, and then we have Winter and Kevin. And Kevin and Winter are soon going to be divorced. Okay, so I'm not quite sure, but I think Winter filed for the divorce, and then we learned that Kevin told Chris that Winter pretty much told him he better sign the divorce papers. So my overall take before I get into anything that happened on this particular episode, the second episode of the season, and listen guys, I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging in there. I guess for Monique, I really don't even know anybody else in that show. And Monique wasn't even really one of my favorites on the Real Housewives of Potomac. But I'm trying to give it a chance. And see, hence, that's a problem right there. When you have to try to give a show a chance, to me, it's bad news already, right? But I'm going to try, under the name of Monique, to give this show yet again another chance. Although I must say this, she claimed she was going to show us something different, but I don't see anything different. Actually, I see something worse. Before, when she was on that other show, I really thought she somewhat cared about her husband, Chris. Actually, I thought she cared about him a lot, especially the last reunion. She was hell-bent on protecting him, and that's her man. She should protect her man. But it seems like on the Love and Marriage DC series, or whatever you want to call it, franchise that he's trying to grow, and when I say he, I mean Carlos King, she seems to just have nothing but disrespect for her husband. But that's my opinion. You chat with me in the comments and let me know your thoughts. So we open up and she's having lunch with Ashley, and Ashley is Quicksilver's wife, and I hope I'm pronouncing their last name correctly. And he's a DJ. He's more than a DJ, but you understand how I'm trying to explain his profession, because he also has seems to be a radio talk show host. So he has a musical entertainment type of business, okay, and along with his talk show. So he's out there, he's a public figure and a celebrity, so that's how he pretty much makes his money. So Ashley is having lunch with Monique, and this is another repeated theme out of Monique's mouth, that her and Chris are approaching the 10-year mark in their marriage, and she seems, I'ma just summarize it and said she's not happy. She felt like he sold her a bill of goods when they first met, and he has, according to what I'm feeling from her, has rise to the occasion for almost none of them. All she does is tells us every single scene. Now, granted, it was only 2 episodes, but every time, I see her, she's talking about the cons with Chris rather than the pros. And to me, my opinion, if you want this thing to last another 10, 15, 20 years, start telling that man what he's doing right versus everything that he's doing wrong. They said the best way to get a positive reaction out of people is to praise them, because in that way they'll want to keep giving you more and doing more because they feel appreciated by the things that they are doing. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't never say anything that you are not happy with or dissatisfied with, but when every single second, especially on a public platform, platform, a reality show, you're telling this man that he's pretty much, no good, not good with the kids, doesn't attend to you. What do you want from her? How do you think you're going to get any change? But let's continue on. So she had lunch with Ashley. And her and Ashley are kind of talking about marriage, talking about how they pretty much supported their husbands and, when is it going to be their turn? And that's another thing in relationships, right? It's like a ping pong. It's like a balancing act. Maybe the first 5 years of marriage, we focus on you and your career. Maybe the next 5 is mine. Or maybe when there's no children involved, you both could kind of build up your career and do your thing. And that's why some experts suggest, but every couple has to go through their own path, that you get married, you wait a while to have children, and that way both of y'all can kind of build up your careers. Then maybe you start having children, and then that way you can afford to get help to help you raise the children, and you both are living a happy, balanced life. But that all depends on what time period in life that you meet. For us ladies, there comes a time where we have a nice period where those are childbearing years for us. And the longer we wait to have a child, the riskier it can get. Or unfortunately, in some cases, it may not happen at all through, I guess, what I would say, I don't know if I want to just call it natural, but you understand what I'm trying to say. The way that you can have the baby yourself. I mean, there's always adoption, there's always surrogates, but you understand what I'm saying. If you want to carry your own child, the females, we have a bracket there. We have a window of opportunity, and the window of opportunity, it starts to dwindle down as the years and decades go by. So, and all of that plays into when you get married, when you get together, and when you're trying to have these kids. And sacrifices will have to be made. It's just the way it is. So these ladies feel like, they sacrificed a lot in their relationships, and they feel like, now is the time for the men to kind of give back, so to speak, and let them have their time and let them, fulfill some of their dreams. And maybe they have to find a different way to get it across to their husbands. But I just think in relationships, and especially with men, you can't badger them. You got to find out a way to talk to them and make it seem like, what you want is what they want, and that they gave you the answer even though you fed it to them. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? But let's carry on. So those two are at lunch and they're talking about that. And in that conversation, they have a conversation about, sex and, what do you call it? Protecting yourself, okay? Birth control. And both of them pretty much use the same type of methods, the pull-out method. Ashley, I think she said, she takes chances, so forth and so on. So, and that's fine. That's your husband. But here's the problem I had with Monique. You're saying that you don't know if you and Chris are going to make it past the 10-year mark. You're disappointed with some of the things that are currently going on in a relationship. So if that is the case, why would you use this PO method? And she called it the pull out method, meaning that Chris is going to pull out before, I guess anything comes out. But here's the problem with that though, too. Listen, I'm not here to give no sex education lesson. I'm not that qualified, but I will say this. We all know and we all have learned that even before that actual moment, stuff is traveling in it coming out, okay? I don't want to listen. I'm not here for any sex education lessons, but you understand what I'm saying. So even before he maybe pulls out before the major event, that doesn't mean something didn't get away, and there's a possibility that, a baby will start cooking in there. So I only bring that up to say, like, Monique, come on, do better. If you're thinking y'all are not going to make it past the 10-year mark, why even take the chance of possibly getting pregnant and having another baby and bringing that baby into a situation where you and your husband are not in the best or the greatest place at this particular moment? I think it's silly, but that's me. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. So let's move forward and let me see, who else do we have to talk about here? So Quick and Ashley. I actually like these couples. I really do. But we're going to get to Jamie in a minute. But so Quick and Ashley, I like them together. He seems to be level-headed. He seems to, really care about his wife, but he's running a business. And to much is given, much is required. So if you want to live a certain lifestyle, it's somebody got to work hard. Does that necessarily mean that the other person in relationship has to give up every dream? No, I don't think so, but you gotta find a healthy balance. So he learned on this particular episode that there's, I guess, this big weekend that they have, and the DJs are in the parties that happen that weekend are a lot, and he's booked for currently 15, and he had to go home and tell Ashley that. Ashley is kind of used to it at this point, so although she understands, again, she cares about her husband, and pretty much she told him, part of my issue is when you overwork yourself like this to exhaustion, you can almost you almost kill yourself. You end up in the hospital. So her worries are warranted, because this is not just about him being away and her having to do everything herself for the kids. This is also about the fact that I don't want you going out there working to the point where you're about to pass out, and then I'm left with no husband, and my kids are left with no father, and then people are left without a cousin, a friend, so forth and so on. So I understand their struggle on that particular level. Now, what I did like is, I want to say his friend, his name was Julius Grant, and they seem to be in business together. But Quick let us know this particular episode that his father unfortunately passed away when he was only 18. And my heart breaks for any child who loses their parent early on. Listen, none of us, if it was up to us, people would be walking around this earth, there'd be 300 and still here. So we all got to go one day, right? But you never want it to be just what you consider to be so soon. I think for your parent to go at the age of 18, that's pretty early. And this Julius Grant, he told Quick, listen, I got your back. Don't worry. What I really like about that is Quick said that Julius really meant it, and he has been there for him ever since. Much respect, because a lot of people sometimes it's just something they say, like I'll be there for you, but then when you really need them, they're nowhere to be found. So God bless Julius. Hopefully we'll see more of this whole business relationship play out on Love and Marriage DC. So Monique actually co-hosts, I'm sorry guys, that's my phone. Monique actually co-hosts on a radio show, I guess a couple weeks before this episode. They kind of really liked her. They're looking for a permanent co-host, and I actually think that would be a good job for her. Listen, Monique is beautiful. She has great skin. She stays in shape. I think she needs a different stylist. I'm not liking her confessional looks. I really didn't like her look at the vegan dinner, but forget about that for one moment. I think her skin is beautiful. Her makeup is flawless, and she is a beautiful woman. So I think that she will do great on this radio show as a co-host. I also think, I told you before, I do not like that name, Not for Lazy Moms. And I had a thought when I was watching her and she talked about her journey becoming a vegan and how she doesn't even crave meat anymore. I'm fighting to get on that journey, okay? I'm looking to do that. And I had an aha moment. I think Monique, because she's into fitness, she's into feeding your body the right foods and filling your body the right way, and she has this flawless skin. I think Monique would be a better served if she did some type of podcast or some type of movement on this vegan eating, on just taking care of your skin and exercise and fitness. I think that's a missed opportunity. I don't even know if she's doing anything like that right now, but I think that is something Monique can definitely get into. When I was just looking at her and viewing her on the TV, that was a thought that came on my head. Anyway, chat with me in the comments about that. So Chris goes to meet Winter's soon-to-be ex-husband, right? And so Monique apparently knows Winter, like they're good friends. And so we learned last week, or the first episode, that Winter and her husband, Kevin, are, divorcing. And she just said, she gave us a story that pretty much, I guess they got into it. He left and he went back to his mama's house. And Winter is a relationship coach. That relationship coach career is kind of sticky, and I'll get into that in a minute. But let me tell you about this meeting between Kevin and Chris. So Chris he reminds me of in a lot of ways, a sense, I like his personality, right? He reminds me of like a big teddy bear, like just someone, very gullible. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Just very kind and very easygoing. That's what he reminds me of. Like, listen, I don't know none of these people personally. I'm giving my commentary based upon what I see in a particular episode, right? But that's what he seems like to me. So he meets up with Kevin. And he's pretty much talking to Kevin. And Kevin is saying, one, he's still in love with Winter. Two, he's not quite sure why they are getting this divorce. And he tells this convoluted story that he went around in circles and circles and circles about how his former company, I think it was, or wherever he was working, accused him of, and I'm paraphrasing, guys, embezzling money. And that was part of their misunderstanding and their breakup. But he went in circles and circles about this money that was allegedly missing from the company. And he claims he never took it in some type of way. He didn't really say I didn't take it. He said they accused me of using some of the money to take my kids ice skating. And he said, I never took my kids ice skating. Well, okay, forget about the ice skating, Kevin. Did you take money for something else? We didn't get that out of Kevin. So he just went in circles and circles and circles. And Chris fell for the nonsense. But I will tell you this. I have similar defect characteristics like that. I cannot believe something, and then I'll meet with the person and they have a talk with me, and I'm like, oh my God, I believe every word that's coming out their mouth. Then I go talk to my girlfriend and she was like, you fell for the okie doke, like you fell for the nonsense, girl, bye. Like, no, they did it. Like, stop. So I can get how when you meet with someone, you get wrapped up and you fall into their mess. You fall into their web, so to speak. And Chris definitely fell into Kevin's web. The only reason why I didn't fall in is because I was like, he was just talking too much about nothing. And he never just to me directly came out and said, no, I didn't take any money. I don't know why this is happening. So anyway, and then he said that he loved Winter's youngest daughter. I don't know how many kids Winter has. He said they really connected. So they were a blended family. And he said his youngest son, again, I don't know how old his youngest son is. He asked about mommy Winter. So Kevin said he called Winter, and Winter wants nothing to do with any of them. But we're not going to judge her just yet, because I'm sure there's more to this Kevin than we know about. And it seems like he's a bit of a hot mess. But to be continued for future episodes, right? So what Monique is having is vegan dinner, and all of the couples are invited. And so I want to say, what was it? Quick and Ashley, right? It was Quick and Ashley who they went to dinner before the dinner because they just wasn't into the vegan food. And listen, I'm not mad at them. Really, what I try to do when I'm going with someplace and I know people, because listen, I don't care when you host something, the amount of work it takes, because you extra clean your house, then you're slaving cooking all day. Then you have to go hurry up and try to shower. You got to set up your table, set up this. Then you got to hurry up and try to shower and get ready before your guests start to arrive. And then you do got to kind of know the menu, not the menu, but the type of foods everybody can eat or not eat, because you want to have something there for everybody, right? So vegan, I don't know, can we call it neutral? I guess it's neutral. Because a lot of people like me, I have allergy to shellfish. So in vegan, there's not going to be anything shellfish. So I guess vegan food is a very, is it a universal meal? That's what I'm trying to get out. Is it a universal meal? Is like if you was having a seafood boil or dinner or whatever the case may be, you would definitely have to check, because most people, they do eat seafood, and probably the ones that don't, they're allergic to it, or maybe they just don't like it. So I'm thinking if you're serving a vegan meal, it's pretty neutral. Maybe it covers everybody. I don't know, but I'm not mad at them. They want to make sure that they was going to be sitting there in their stomach growling and being hungry, so they ate before they got there. So let's quickly end this recap on what do I think about the actual dinner. The actual dinner, her table in her home, I didn't really get to see It's like it's something not it was not like bright enough, I guess, in the home for me to really get a feel of her decor and everything. I guess the table, it was fine, it looked good or whatever, but Monique outfit at dinner, again, I think, no shade, I think she could use a stylist. Like, she's a beautiful woman, and when you're like that tiny, it's like almost anything and everything looks really good on you. But I thought that outfit was tragic. I'm sorry, but you let me know. I didn't like it. I didn't like her outfit. I didn't like Winter's outfit. No one came through the door and I was like, wow, I love the way that they dress. I thought it was all okay, right? So this vegan dinner and what happened at the dinner, I think that Monique told us she was going to show us something different on Love and Marriage DC. What is she showing us? Is she showing us that she really doesn't like her husband, Chris? I mean, can you say something positive to this man? So they kind of get into it because both of them went through bouts of COVID, and she pretty much said when she went through her bout of the situation we got in the pandemic, because I don't think I'm supposed to be saying that word, but you know what I'm saying. When she went through her bout of it, she said, Chris wasn't attentive to her. He didn't come check on her. And he was like, hold up, wait a minute, what are you talking about? And, then he hushed her. And so they got into for a moment. She's like, yo, you're not going to do that. You're not going to hush me. You're about to spoil this whole dinner. Just the level of bad communication between them is disheartening. I really don't want to watch it. I really don't want to watch another couple on TV and the destruction of them. I just don't. And so I'm hoping they can get themselves together. He ended up apologizing to her in the end, but I still think, because we saw the previews for the third episode, and it's like it's not getting any better. It's just a mess between these two. And then this time when they get into it, it's going to be in front of the kids. It's like, it's a whole hot mess, but I guess to be continued, right? But at that dinner, this was the shocking part to me. Jamie, that Jamie, Arena's husband, he's a little firecracker. He's a bit much. He pretty much told her the shush, or he kind of put his hand up and to cover her mouth. And other words, that means shut up. So now Arena can't talk. She can't have her own opinions. So they've been married for 3 decades, I want to say. I hope I got that right, but if I didn't, correct me. And, everybody was saying, well, we want to know about the roller. He said it was a roller coaster ride. They said, well, we want to know some of the lows you got yourself through, right? So she mentioned, Arena, there was cheating that wasn't cheating, and it wasn't cheating because she didn't actually catch him cheating. So that's a little tricky with the words, right? I mean, just because I didn't catch you in the act doesn't mean that you wasn't cheating. And here's the thing. We got to define cheating, right? Because it's a play of words a lot of times. People want to know, are you a cheater because you're married and some other chicks are calling you? Or are you a cheater and you're married and dudes are calling you? What do we define as cheating? Is it a thin line? If you cross this and then that, then you're cheating. So, and I think conversation can be cheating because it can get to the point where maybe y'all didn't have a physical relationship, but y'all had an emotional relationship. And some people consider that to be worse than having a physical relationship. I think they're both bad, but I guess it depends on who you're talking to. So she pretty much was trying to speak her piece. He told her to shush. And then in the confessional, he pretty much said, listen, that happened in the past. In other words, it ain't no need to talk about that now. It is what it is, and it was what it was, and nobody needs to talk about it. So it's going to be interesting to see Mr. Jamie and how this whole situation plays out with him and Irena. But I think he is someone to watch. So I'm going to end this with this. So we find out that Winter says that she is a relationship coach, and she pretty much asks all the right questions about her soon-to-be ex-husband Kevin, and still here she is today. Now, I think it was Arena, or maybe it was Ashley, who was going to get into questioning her, like, how you a relationship coach and you knew he had a basement apartment, but you ain't asking no questions to find out that this man had a basement apartment in his mother's house, right? And what does it matter? I don't know, but I'm just saying. So when you're a relationship coach or when you're a matchmaker, the assumption that a lot of people make is, if you can help me find somebody, then I would think that you can help yourself find somebody and be in a successful relationship. It's always looked upon and given a side eye when you call yourself a relationship expert, but meantime you want to be in a relationship and you can't even find your love yourself. Usually when you are looking to do something, you go to someone who's already successful in that area, hoping that you can duplicate or excel and exceed past their success. But you wouldn't look, if you wanted to open a store, a clothing store, you wouldn't ask the 5 people that failed and are still failing. You would ask maybe the 5 people that failed, but now they're succeeding, right? Anyway, this is going to be interesting, and I'll close it out with this. I'm hanging in there, I guess, in the name of Monique. Even though on the Real Housewives of Potomac, or should I be saying, even when she was on that other show, she wasn't my favorite. But I love to see people, have great opportunities. And although this is a great opportunity for her, if she doesn't clean this up, turn this thing around, and show us something truly different, I think it's going to not make it. I'll say it nicely, right? So guys, chat with me in the comments. Let me know, are you watching Love and Marriage DC? What do you think about it? Again, I feel like Monique is punking her husband, but that's me. Right now, I'm liking Ashley and Quick. I'm giving Jamie the side eye. There's more to Winter in this Kevin situation than we know. And then we got introduced, and I don't know if they're going to be a part of the show, but we got introduced to Tasha and her husband Neil. So it's going to be interesting. Thanks guys for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button. Chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. And I'll see you on the next video.